I really appreciate you letting the Playhouse in. It's Kat and JJ. Monday vibes are popping. How is Theresa doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for asking. We appreciate you being part of the show. I know this is kind of a sensitive subject. We were talking about people that have had to disown a family member, and Prince Harry was all miffed because nobody from the royal family decided to wish his daughter a happy birthday on social media. And I'm
But
like,
wouldn't you be upset when someone involves your child? Then it's just like next level, as adults, you
but
can
they
kind of
didn't
handle it.
involve her. They didn't involve her.
They omitted
Yeah.
her, like she doesn't even exist, and that's where it's so hurtful. Like he's not just 11th in line. You know what I mean? He may be a little bit further down the line than William's kids, but it's not right.
Kind of disowning members of the family. Who'd you have to disown?
I had to disown my mother.
Why?
God, I can't even imagine this. Why?
So I was born in Canada, and the laws are a little different up there, but I actually took her to court and disowned her. She was severely mentally ill, certainly intergenerational trauma there, but she abused me for years and ran me over with a car trying to kill me.
Well, that'll do it.
Yeah, and just a lot of stuff. She was multiple personality disorder, along with some other disorders that were very severe, in and out of psychiatric units all her life.
Do you have siblings? Did this happen to them too, or were you an only child?
No, I have siblings, but I was the only one this happened to. And when I went to therapy to talk about it, the therapist said something along the lines of that when people experience trauma, severe complex trauma, like my mother did, that sometimes when they give birth, because that's a traumatic incident too, it can trigger things in them to where their focus is on that child. So I happen to be that kid.
So you got the unlucky roll of the dice where your mother's mental capacity had it as she was going to take it out on you and punish you.
Well, how many
Not the other
siblings do
kids.
you have?
Yes. I have 3 others.
And they're telling you the truth. Sometimes stuff can be done to people and they're so shamed about it that they won't admit it. You're positive that they didn't go through it?
Yeah, no, I'm positive they didn't go through the same thing. I actually protected my siblings from it.
Yeah.
Do you have a strained relationship with them because of the relationship you had with your mother then?
With the 2 of them I do. The other one I don't. We're pretty close.
This sounds horrible.
Did they
I
ever
can't-
say, like, why are you talking so poorly about our mom? Like, she would never do that. Did you ever have to go through that? Their denial of it?
Yeah, well, one of my sisters defended my mother profusely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty ugly, but, everybody has their own perception of what happens as we're growing up as kids. So I understand that.
Do you have kids? Was this tough for them to not have grandma?
She died in 2008. So,
Oh,
yeah, I do have
gotcha.
3 kids.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to come to terms with it. I think I was well into my 30s for me to really understand the extent of her trauma
Yeah.
and that this wasn't her. This wasn't the normal her. There was some good times with her, so it was not bad. But it just helped me really to accept and put closure on it and no longer be angry and resentful at her, rather sorry for her.
That was going to be my next question is how resentful are you?
That's so big of you to be able to
Yeah,
come at it
no,
from that angle.
Thanks. I am no longer resentful at her at all. I'm actually grateful that she's in peace.
Yeah.
She's passed on to the other world and no longer has to endure her own traumas.
So real quick, if someone's going through this right now, how did you get over that? Like, was it something that you practice every day, all day, like forgiveness, or give maybe a tip that someone could do?
It is every day I deal with this, especially with my own children.
Yeah.
Because, when you're not taught how to love and all you know is hate, I've had to teach myself how to love my children.
Yeah.
I went through years of therapy to really unravel this, I actually became a therapist myself.
Wow.
So, and so learning to love my children, it's the attachment thing, right? So when you grow up in complex trauma like that, abandonment, all of that kind of stuff, you detach from other people in order to protect yourself. And so you become sort of unempathetic. in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to relearn those skills.
When I saw your text, I immediately was like, this girl's too smart for our show, but she's going to call in anyways. So I'm really, really happy that you did because this is enlightening. I appreciate it. There's somebody's going to get something out of this. The fact that you were able to be honest and upfront about all this, somebody's going to have the strength to move forward. So thank you.
I hope so. Thank you.
Yeah, have a great morning.
The KCLD Playhouse is powered up by Bradshaw and Bryant Law Offices, seeking justice for the
Can
injured.
you imagine it being so bad you have to disown your mother?
No.
Like that's...
But I get it. I get it if
do
it's
too.
like that and it's like you just have to look out for you.
That's a very
You
tough
know?
spot. I'm glad she shared. All right, let's get to our second round of paparazzi. This is the big one, guys. Free pizza, courtesy of House of Pizza. What you got?
Yummy. Yeah. Speaking of food, Niall Horan, what is his go-to studio meal? Also, if you watch Seventh Heaven, Jessica Biel regrets one big thing. That's coming up with Radio Paparazzi next.
It's the Playhouse with Cat and JJ.